SAO War of the Underworld is back, this time with a new opening. Today, let's go ahead and get an in-depth deep dive into the new opening. What does it all mean? Trust me, the level of detail they've done for this opening is top tier. So if you're excited for SAO, smash a thumbs up and subscribe, and let's get into this. You got Resolution being done by Asuna's voice actress, Haruka Tomatsu. But definitely post your own thoughts on Resolution down below. The song and the song animation combo. Haruka previously did the opening for SAO Season 2 and one of the endings for SAO Season 1. I especially freaking love the Marius Rosario opening, which is why it does pain me to say it, but if I do want to be honest, I was a little bit down by this new opening. Song only. Let me mention that I have listened to several of the various Asuna character songs. This new opening felt a little like that. It really sounded like Haruka was focusing more on sounding like Asuna. That may be the reason why it sounded a little bit too karaoke-like. Still, let me just clarify that even though I don't think it's one of the top SAO songs, I still like the song. I'm sure it's gonna grow on me. It always does. Anyway, getting into the actual Resolution opening breakdown. I really love what follows. You have so many key SAO characters up until this point. Kicking us off was Asuna, the SAO girls, Liz, Silica, Yui, some of the guys, Klein and Agio, and they really did this guy wrong. You could barely see his axe. This is followed by Lee Chinon, the guild leader in disguise Kayaba. Yuki, my god do I miss her so much. Yuna and Eiji, getting that SAO movie tie-in. Quinella and her bite-sized half, Cardinal. Integrity Knight Alice, Blonde Boy Yuju. And that's it. It does feel like someone is missing. Who could that be? And by the way, one of the SAO Season 2 openings did something similar, only with player info cards. And then last one here is Kirito with the SAO gear. And did any of you catch this? Someone reflected in his eye. Oh, the other Kirito in current state. Kirito the Broken. Next up, the Alicization invading Taito. So it looks like they're continuing the trend. This is actually one of the titles for SAO Light Novel 15. Number 15, of course, starting the War of the Underworld stuff. Then, for Asuna making her second appearance, you have Asuna and the goddess Stacia of Design reaching out. Compared to the light novel version, it's a lot less pink and more white and perhaps red, which honestly I don't mind. It would match her SAO colors. In fact, it looks pretty similar to the new Asuna design for the upcoming SAO game, although perhaps Asuna is not pink all the time or not pink at all. In one of the later SAO covers, Asuna looks more white and red, so perhaps this really just changes depending on the lighting. Anyway, next up, Alice sleeping. This actually almost made me think blonde Asuna? And do notice at this point only one eye open. Naturally, Alice will be sleeping without the eye patch. And my god, do I really love the detail on Alice's golden hair. In the next scene, you actually have Alice burning whatever the hell she was cooking. Could Alice have just burnt some pancakes? And do notice Alice coughing or covering her mouth due to the smoke. I do like how Alice is almost as counter to Asuna, who's an amazing chef. As for Selka coming in, aw, some sisters bonding. You should know that Alice had a really tough time getting used to this the first month she got back. As for Kirito next to the window, do notice it was really quick, but there is this blue bird looking over Kirito briefly. This blue birdie is definitely a reference to the now deceased blonde boy Yuji. Specifically, it looks like an eastern bluebird. And keep this little guy in mind, he actually appears later on. Next up, the Integrity Knights. So you have the Crimson Integrity Knight working hard at training the Human Empire army. I like how they're conducting this right outside of Quinella's tower. As for the green dude over here, so I've actually seen some confusion about whether this could be Shinon. Sure, you have the hairstyles matching and the colors are similar, but something might be missing. And I know what you're thinking, but it's not one of those reverse Kirito-chan situations. And don't worry, Shinon will definitely get her time to shine later on in SAO Alicization. That'll be in the War of the Underworld Part 2. But back to this green haired dude, he actually looks like Integrity Knight Renri. You really only have this black and white page from the book to compare, and at this point he's wearing armor, so it's kind of hard to say exactly. Next up, Integrity Knight LG taking care of some of the dragons. In the same scene, it looks like Fizzo and Lino are helping too? Plus, it looks like they might not be so loony anymore. Then for a split second, oh, what do we have here? Integrity Knight number 12. So she's got this pretty awesome tiny but deadly weapon. You're gonna love seeing her in action. Next up, Thick Fanatio in Bercoli's place. Ooh. And yes, you can see Bercoli's sword on the top and his robe right next to her. You could bet they were playing with a different sword last night. You actually got this hinted at back in the battle of Fanatio versus Kirito. And can you really blame her? I mean, my god, who doesn't want a piece of that? And talking about Broccoli, surprised to see this dude smoking out. This must be after some fun time with Thanatio. So you got this guy looking at the art display from the Great Legend, the three goddesses battling the sinister god Vector. At this point in time, you've seen so many variations of this throughout the underworld, including Quinella's ceiling. Next up, the Eastern Gate. This gate right now is currently separating the human empire from the Dark Territory. Unfortunately, this thing is about to come down soon. Tick-tock. Between this, you do see some monster races. The Ogre/Wolf, the Mr. Bacon Orc, and a Goblin. Next up, Alice. You gotta realizing that the Ruled Village is on fire. In other words, being assaulted by the Dark Territory, which is something that already happened by the end of episode 1. Next up, the Dark Territory Generals. There's 10 of them. You've actually been teased them in the recent trailer. First off, 2 human races, the Assassin's Guild and the Commerce Guild. This is followed by a giant, and then the 2 goblins, the mountain one and the field one. Then you have the wolf guy, officially known as an ogre, and the orc on the side. After, you have the leader of the dark mages, and to the side this boxer/fighter/gladiator guy. And then the final of the human race is on the Dark Territory side, the Dark Knight Commander, Shasta. This is actually the dude that Thanatio fought before. Behind all of these guys is Gabriel Miller with that chessboard. Honestly, not that subtle, although it is a perfect way to show off how these Dark Territory races and armies are just pawns for this guy. Gabriel in this suit here really just gives me this business vibe. Notice in the background, those butterflies. So you have a collector right here. I'll just mention this as an obvious reference to Gabriel's backstory. That's gonna dive into his obsession with the human soul, and by extension, Alice. Expect Gabriel's backstory around episode 3 or 4, and also expect the possible controversy. As for Gabriel eating that chess piece, specifically the king, so much symbolism right here. 1. Gabriel himself becoming the king piece. 2. A reference that Gabriel does once he enters the underworld. 3. Going back to Gabriel's obsession with the soul. You got the guy literally devouring the stand-in for the soul idea. Right after Gabriel, you have all these light cubes. More symbolism right here. One immediate one will be all the deaths caused by Gabriel during this war, which in turn is causing all of these lights to go out. Next up, back at the Ocean Turtle. I do find it interesting how Kiko here almost serves as a parallel to Gabriel. In the shot, Kiko has turned his back to the human empire and underworld behind him. Plus, notice you could only see the glasses, not his eyes. So menacing. You actually have Kiko munching on this apple dessert. The guy loves his sweets. Could this perhaps be a reference to Gabriel's infamous line, "Your soul should be so sweet"? Before switching scenes, you gotta get that Kayaba and Ironclad reference in. Naturally, the current underworld is what Kayaba and his VR work have been building up to. Kiko himself has been linked to Kayaba for some time since the SAO incident. Naturally, you have Kayaba turned around. I'll just mention you will see Kayaba in the upcoming Warhalf. As for the Aincrad Castle, I'll just mention that the SAO movie wasn't the last time you're gonna get to see it. Next scene, Kirito and the Soul Translator and Asuna patiently worrying nearby. Poor Kirito, and also poor Asuna having to deal with this crap. First it was the SAO incident, then Asuna losing some memories, and most recently Kirito getting attacked. And really, I love the SAO adventures, trust me. But at this point, Kirito's heading towards some Subaru level of suffering. Next up, 5 guys. So you have Gabriel Miller in the middle, the laughing coffin leader on the middle right, on the middle left, the hacker they brought on board, and then the guys on the far ends, really just random meat shoes. Next up, the light cube cluster on board the ship. So this thing right now is holding all the citizens of the underworld. How about you guys not blow this up? Up next is Higa and Rinko. You got both of these two hacking away. Nice little detail with Higa eating one of those soy power bars. I personally do enjoy these bars on a regular basis. Next up, Asuna running into the VR world. Asuna here is really giving this leader vibe being up in front. But don't forget about the others, Leafa, Shinon, Silica, Liz, Agio, and Klein, who sucks. And Yui, yes! Freaking love Yui. Too bad there's not enough Yui in season 3. This right here is definitely a reference to Yui's important role this season, her reaching out. Capture that Alice. In the middle, that becomes Alice's light cube. This of course having this reference to the system code, also known as the taboo index. Then Gabriel Miller is back. So they're definitely not being subtle about him turning into God Vector. Much like Asuna, Gabriel will be using the God Vector account logging in from the Dark Territory side. His goal and obsession is to capture Alice, hence why you have Alice being in the middle of all of this. Focusing on Alice, you actually have Yuji and Kirito's hand behind her pushing her forward. This symbolizes how both of them helped Alice in part 1 to reach this point. They'll be further fueling Alice to keep moving forward in the upcoming stuff. Then for the actual focus on Alice, so pretty obvious Alice will get her eye back healed, good as new. Thank you, Sacred Arts. Next up, Alice riding her beloved Amayori. So you gotta love this shot of her overlooking the thousands and thousands of troops down below. Fingers crossed that they use CG sparingly. Do notice as Alice moves out of the way, you got this Phoenix thing flying into the battlefield and nuking the area. I'm calling hacks. It feels like this is emphasizing Alice entering the battlefield. Naturally, with Bankai, Alice could take out so many troops. As for the other Integrity Knights, you got the Crimson Integrity Knight. Too bad this fire guy doesn't really use a helmet anymore. Hopefully you get to see this guy blazing up too again. Then Integrity Knight Eldri. So you got the guy taking the Goblin Slayer title. Eldri's unleashing that ultimate snake whip. From the Dark Territory people they're fighting, first off you have the head of the Dark Mages. You also have this wolf guy here, also known as the Ogre General. Then one of my favorite shots, Fanatio here, notably her wearing lipstick here. Go get him. Seeing the shot in the opening made me feel really happy for her. Naturally, Fanatio is going to be spamming her laser. She's got like the perfect Bankai for this worm. Just line these guys up. Next scene up, Berkoli finally wearing some armor. This shot is actually weird. When I first saw this, originally I thought that it was Berkoli versus the god Vector, but it's actually Berkoli versus the Dark Knight Commander Shasta. Let me re-emphasize how weird this is being shown here. Could this be a flashback? Next up, Alice. Oh my god, is that a Fate reference? So yes, as if there weren't already enough Saber comparisons. I guess they just said screw it. For the actual scene, notice all around, you have so many piles of bodies. Goblins, Dark Knights. There is a ton of death coming. Briefly, you got the shot of Roni and Tisei. So these two will show up later on. They're going to be mostly on the sidelines with one important task. Then you have the Porky Pig guy holding someone. I'm really hoping that the anime captures the amount of loss on the Dark Territory side, especially this moment. Then the two Blaze, really complementing one another, and also representing Eugeo and Kirito. For a split second, you do have Kirito with his SAO attire holding both of the Blaze, specifically during his fight during the Quinella fight. Keep in mind that Alice should have been knocked out during this Quinella fight part. Then you have Alice looking back. Notice here the background. It's not completely the same, but it's similar to when Tisei and young Alice were trying to talk to Eugeo. Perhaps Alice just has some royal blood in her. And talking about blood, the blood evaporating from Alice's hand. This combined with the eye patch being blown away. Ultimately, this really just signifies Alice being the key to everything. Notice in the top right, you can actually see Kirito's head, him in the chair. Next scene, Alice fiercely walking into the Dark Territory, this time freely and willingly. Whereas Alice wasn't able to do so back in the first episode. In the shot noticed in the water on the lower right, reflected in the water are these buildings. This is actually symbolizing the line between VR and the real world being blurred even more. Alice herself being in this huge testament to that. Next split second scene, you have this almost older looking Alice with her tree, or should I say the sword turned into the tree, along with the two blades crossing off to the side. Seeing these two always makes me think back to Asuna and Kirito's blade in the season 1 opening, but also don't forget about Leafa and Kirito's blade from the Fairy Dance arc. Even the second SAO season 3 opening has something similar. Do you recall what I mentioned near the start? The blue birdie returns. This little fella sitting on top of the night sky blade, so really Eugeo overlooking Kirito. And then the very end, you have all of this reflected in Kirito's eye. Although at this point, notice the light in Kirito's eye. This of course being something that we all know, Kirito's eventually going to actually wake up. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this juicy breakdown. Go ahead and post down below your favorite detail or any of your own interpretations for this opening down below. Definitely check out my breakdown on the first episode. Keep checking back for my weekly SAO videos and I'll see you guys later.